So I think when talking about emotional safety, it sounds like a fancy word. Well, if it is a fancy word, but what I understand, it means that we are all emotionally safe when we feel that we are kind of seen and heard, as kind of on a more deeper level also. That if we have some problems or challenges with our work motivation, or we are too tired with our work, or we have some kind of maybe some communication problems at the workplace. So I think emotionally safe person feels that, or an emotionally safe environment also allows for the individual to talk about these issues with their colleagues and with their, for example, with their boss, and also these issues are discussed in a workplace. So
the people should be able to talk about difficult questions as well. So if there is something he or she is unsecure of, or kind of not exactly goes with the value of his or her, so there should be an environment that allows her to speak all these thoughts, not to just hide them.
Exactly.
That would bring like the good and open atmosphere in the working place.
And I think this should be taught, like whenever a new worker comes to any organization, I think this theme should be kind of covered in the manual. I think every working place should have a value, kind of a manual, like how to, when a new staff member comes, what are the basic things that they need to learn, and what kind of basic information they need to adapt. So I think this should be also their kind of strategies, how to kind of affect in a positive level, so the environment will be emotionally safe, because it's not only responsibility of the boss, but I think we all who work with others, and it's everybody's responsibility to kind of respect the different opinions of others. And also we all need to take responsibility that if we see somebody, like for example our colleague, if they are struggling with their motivation, or with some projects, or whatever problems they have, that we also need to be brave enough to ask them on a daily basis that how are you doing, is everything okay, do you need some help? So this is kind of how we as individuals can take responsibility, and then when all the individuals take enough responsibility, then it becomes like a part of the collective in a way. So it's kind of new norm that everybody is respected, everybody's opinions are respected, even if there are disagreements and healthy conflicts also, but everybody's difference is also kind of respected.
Yes, and not only by the management, not the bigger or higher level, but then all the levels of hierarchy should be able to be being heard.
And I think, like, talking about on a more practical level, this all sounds very fancy and more maybe philosophical also, but how to put this in practice, I think it should be kind of in staff meetings, and hopefully every organization has like official staff meetings, maybe like at the start of the week they have a meeting that what's happening during that week, and maybe at the end of the week they have also meetings that how did the week go, and also many organizations they also have this kind of discussions where with every worker, every staff member, it's kind of how are they doing with their work? How are they doing, like with the practical workload, and also how they are doing motivation-wise? So all these mechanisms are very kind of important in this creating this emotionally safe environment.
Yes, and not to focus only on results and kind of like have kind of a list of the aims to kind of achieve, but also kind of like diffuse all the project or something that has gone, and then also psychologically like how people feel. So if there is not like one project and then another one, but something also kind of stop for a while and talk about how was it emotionally.
Because there are many ways to kind of measure success and kind of the results of the work. Of course we need some data also, like how many units of books have been sold, etc. But also there needs to be kind of measurements, like how well people feel that they are being heard.
Yes.
If there are some communication problems, like every organization has some communication problems, there will be some challenges with kind of how people interact with each other, and there might be some crises. So I think this also should be measured, like every organization should have their own kind of criteria how to gather this data. So I think it's really important. But I think mostly it's kind of mindset and attitude. Of everybody's respected and difference is respected.
Yeah. And I also think like there is a responsibility on the boss level, kind of like the offer the support than to worker to ask for support, isn't it? So
it is, and hopefully whatever the structure of hierarchy is and the management level, what are the hierarchies, I think it should be very clear with every level that they need to be very easily approachable, and there needs to be clear information on who to talk about if there are some problems or some issues at the workplace. So there needs to be kind of assigned people that who, for example, who we can go and talk to, because otherwise people will maybe keep their problems and their issues with themselves if they don't have this kind of encouragement. Also, like you said, that most important thing is that the management, the bosses, they encourage that whatever issues you have, please come talk to me, or please go talk to my colleague. So it's this kind of inclusive and welcoming mindset that is the most important thing.
Yes, inclusive is important word, and also being kind of able to show the weakness or kind of insecurities, or I have only one worker, but I say to her that like you are allowed to fault, like make mistakes.
Exactly.
So that is very human, and that's like no one is perfect. Not one takes responsibility, but we share all the.
Yeah, by making mistakes,
we learn.
We all exactly, yeah. Like no, everybody makes mistakes, and if we don't make mistakes, we don't learn. But if a mistake is, if we make a mistake and we feel that we are punished or we are shamed, then it's not a learning experience. But instead, when we make so-called mistake, I hope that somebody is there to kind of guide us how to work better next time, or how to do things differently next time, in a constructive way, not in a shaming or blaming way, or finding who was the guilty, who was the innocent, but instead of like helping us to understand, okay, were you lacking some support, or and how can I help you in the future? So this kind of support is very important.
Yes. How about the freelancers who work alone? So
I think freelancers who work on their own, they should have some. Maybe they don't have bosses very often, but they should have somebody, maybe a mentor, senior colleague or senior freelancer colleague, somebody who's also working in the same field, and they should maybe have even a small group where they discuss how is it going, in their professional fields, because we all need some kind of mirrors. We all need to reflect on our issues with somebody else, because if we work on our own only, then this support is lacking very often.
So one should find like some kind of supportive, trusted person, or small
mentor,
group, or
yes.
mentor, or form one if one doesn't have.
And in many countries, many cultures, there are also networks. So for example, freelancers in psychotherapy field, they are like unofficial groups of psychotherapists who are just meeting on a regular basis to talk about these issues. And I think among artists there are also this kind of small groups. But this peer support is very, very important.
Yeah.
There are some research on that the people, when they feel that they are being heard and seen, also with the difficult feelings and emotions in a workplace, and they feel more, of course, they feel more included, and also they are happier and more relaxed.
Yes.
And when a person is feeling emotionally comfortable and safe, of course, they also perform better. But if they feel like they can't talk about anything, the atmosphere is like not allowing that. I don't believe that anybody's full potential can be reached that way. And because when a person feels emotionally safe and comfortable, it kind of helps us to untap our potential. And of course, if we are in an organization that we really feel that we are being included and we are respected, of course we also want to contribute to the fullest to that organization. But if we don't feel that we are being valued, very rarely we want to give our best.
Yes, our genuine best.
Our genuine best.
Yes, and creativity always comes from safety. So you should have like a safe space to trial and error.
Exactly.
So it also is about any field, not arts, but every kind of work. So you should have space to mess and try things and fall and discuss with others.
Exactly.
To find new things. So that space should be safe.
Because safe, like you said, safe space allows playfulness, spontaneity, and
insecure.
We can't create. Yes, we can't create anything new if we don't feel kind of that there's room to be spontaneous. So it's very important that you pointed out that safe space.
Yes. So many times the productivity is counted as a quantity, not as quality. So like a really important things can come after many trials and errors.
And also, like one more thing that I would like to add, that when people feel, for example, that they are working in an emotionally safe and secure and comfortable environment, of course they also want to commit to that working place. A lot of problems that organizations have is that people don't stay there for long. They might be there for 6 months or 1 year, and then they will go somewhere else, and then they have to hire a new person and they have to teach him or her about things. So, you know, happier the person is, more emotionally safe they feel, I think more committed they are also to that organization, because they don't want to leave their professional family.
Yes, that's well said.